The Mercedes Formula One team will make things right in the next Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in Imola as it debuts a significant upgrade package that team principal Toto Wolff claims will serve as its new baseline. Now I know, we have been talking a lot about this upgrade package in our previous videos, but we did not focus on one part, and that is key. Can we really have faith in it to deliver, though, considering the issues it has had over the last year or so? So Mercedes fans, this video might be crucial for you to watch before the Imola Grand Prix weekend as we go through what the priority of this upgrade package is. According to Mercedes, new side pods, a new floor, and a tweaked front suspension will be introduced at Imola. The goal is to increase the car's stability, strengthen its mechanical platform, and enable it to run consistently lower, generating greater downforce. Then Technical Director of Mercedes Mike Elliott stated that this update would necessitate under the bodywork alterations. There are also rumors that Mercedes may adopt a more traditional style aero concept, but it won't be a total transformation to match what others have. To further complicate matters, James Allison has returned to his position as the technical director while Elliott has been sideways promoted to the position of chief technical officer. At Mercedes, it has undoubtedly been a year of changes and challenges. Finding answers is the goal of engineering, and there are numerous approaches to accomplish this without an entire concept revamp. Each person will want to dig their own hole. Copying the Red Bull wouldn't be a bad idea if you could do it quickly from images and with perfect detail. But if you copy, you'll constantly be catching up. Thus, you must take additional action. That is what the new technical director of Mercedes James Allison believes in. Hardware alone won't guarantee your success in the modern era of Formula One. What counts is the team's design philosophy and the process the team used to develop it. For example, in terms of single-lap performance, Ferrari and Red Bull are typically neck and neck. Their cars seem extremely different, thus different approaches can produce similar outcomes. However, the fundamental design philosophy must be sound to gain consistency out of any package, especially over a race distance. The new development path for Mercedes didn't merely begin after the Bahrain race weekend. Wolff did request the change of course after qualifying, but it had already been planned for a long time, way before even the launch of the W14 this season. It has been emphasized that the mechanical platform of the Mercedes car needs to be improved. Undoubtedly, Mercedes wants to be able to run its car lower to the ground than the Red Bull, but it remains to be seen if it genuinely possesses the necessary control mechanically, as the gearbox design is now homologated for the rest of the season under the current regulations, and for the fact that there hasn't been any talk relating to the modification in that area. Mercedes can't do much about the rear suspension geometry. That might be possibly something for 2024, alongside with a new chassis perhaps. But this is where things start to become interesting, or should I say concerning for the Silver Arrows. That is because Mercedes employees consistently emphasize how perplexed they are by inconsistent events. The occasional excellent day when the car runs well seems to draw people in too quickly, but that is what occurs with a car when the issue is inconsistency of performance. So let's take a hard look at what Toto Wolff stated in Miami about the car's issues and plan changes to try to grasp where Mercedes is. The car is not a nice car, not a good car. I wouldn't be able to point out where the fundamental problem is. It's the basic performance of the car, it's the lack of understanding of the car, it's through the whole span of activities. The performance is just really bad. I believe that occasionally it's necessary to see past what's going on and understand the causes of it. You can't say Mercedes doesn't know how to create a good car because it won championships for 8 straight years. The W14 is not a really bad car by any means. It is capable of taking the lead and placing third at given occasions. Mercedes needs to pay particular attention to the instruments it uses to approve the development course. These ground effect cars are different from their predecessors and need to be understood differently. Another thing to keep in mind is that you learn much more when you have to bail yourself out of difficulty than when everything is easy and you have an advantage of 2 or 3/10 of a second over your nearest rival. What we're trying to do with the upgrade is to create a new baseline for us to take question marks and variables out of the equation and say this is not a problem now that we have gone to a different spec. And that is, for example, front suspension, says Toto Wolff. We're also looking at bodywork solutions that are more conventional than others. Obviously, that will create a different airflow, so for me, it's almost like a reset to do what would have been a good start 12 months ago and then to try and add performance to the car. At the moment, it's just a lack of understanding. These ground effect cars in Formula One generate more than 50% of their downforce from the car's floor, with the remaining 50% coming from the front and rear wings. According to simple rounded numbers, they probably distribute it more or less evenly, so 50% from the underfloor, 25% from the rear wing, and 25% from the front wing. The RB19 would be a possible outlier, as it has the least drag, meaning more than 50% of the downforce is produced by the car's underfloor. Reduced ride height will have a modest effect on the front wing, especially when braking. Due to its elevated mounting, the rear wing is unaffected by changes in ride height, but the underfloor is an entirely different animal. The more downforce it produces, the closer you can bring it to the ground. It's simple to get overly enthused about wind tunnel results, since the more you can seal the sides of the floor, the more downforce you will generate. But in reality, you just cannot operate the car that stiffly to achieve such a low ride height, something which we saw within the W13. We do keep hearing that Mercedes wants to be able to run the car lower, which could compound this possible issue. How low the silver arrows can consistently run it matters more than how low they want to run it. The team will begin to advance if they are able to lower the ride height without driving the car really stiff. It is crucial for Mercedes to pay special attention to the underfloor's center of pressure. The underfloor's center of pressure may be too far forward and moving quickly forward, which is exactly the opposite of what should be happening in the pursuit of high downforce figures. If this is the case, the underfloor's ground clearance would change as the vehicle's speed increased, which would result in the underfloor's center of pressure rushing up and down the vehicle, which might be extremely perplexing and will be very inconsistent for the driver. If this is the case, that would also explain why the Mercedes car is slow on the straights. Mercedes needs to run more rear wing downforce in order to try to gain some rear end stability at high speed, and with that downforce comes more drag. This is necessary in order to maintain control of that center of pressure shift forward at speed. Additionally, it would explain why Mercedes runs a front wing flap assembly that is more adaptable than any other team. No matter what the rules are on flexible bodywork, it clearly passes the FIA deflection testing. In conclusion, the underfloor's center of pressure must be as stable as possible over the car's ride height range. When braking, even a small rearward shift with additional rake will increase rear end stability. Mercedes needs to run more rear wing downforce and with that drag to give the driver confidence if the underfloor's center of pressure is moving forward quickly. In addition, the front wing must be repositioned to make up the difference. However, there is little you can do to alter the rear wing's level of drag. Mercedes has demonstrated both last season and this season that it is not always possible to mimic the performance of the base vehicle and add to it any modifications in the characteristics of the aerodynamic platform. Therefore, Imola's maximum track running will be crucial. I don't believe in miracles, but the stability of the car and the predictability for the drivers is just subpar. If we can sort that out and help by a front suspension redesign, then that's definitely a good avenue. This could unlock much more drivability and pace. The car should be moving forward immediately. We know what will deliver in terms of aerodynamic performance and hopefully also better behavior of the car, said Toto Wolff. Immediately is a strong word. After incorporating developments, the car needs time to be optimized. Anything that can be done to lessen the movement caused by longitudinal load variations will help maintain the underfloor's consistency and stabilize the shift in the center of pressure. Red Bull's amount of front suspension anti-dive will significantly alter the way the car behaves when braking. Red Bull's rear suspension incorporates a significant amount of anti-lift. The two go together very well. More load transfer will occur to the front axle if the rear is still coming up while braking, and Mercedes will attempt to counteract this with the anti-dive. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a Mercedes at Imola with smoke coming out of the front tires in the significant braking zones. Toto Wolff says, "We're looking at it in a conservative way. We're not trying to find the magic bullet that will turn this around and we're all happy. It will provide challenges. There is performance available immediately, but for me, the most important is that we're taking variables off the table. There is performance available immediately. That needs to be demonstrated over several weekends at various tracks. Progress is more like a dimmer switch that grows brighter every time you start the car rather than a light switch." Mercedes is obviously confident in this change, of course, but before we make any judgments about the move that has been taken, let's wait and see what Imola, Monaco, and Barcelona have in store. Mercedes has been overconfident before and been caught out for good. Given the difficulties of the previous 15 months, it is crucial to demonstrate that the instruments being used to guide development decision-making are now capable of determining the best course for these ground effect cars. Mercedes trackside engineering director Andrew Shovlin revealed what the team's priority aim is with the Imola upgrades, and it is not outright lap time. Shovlin believes this new upgrade package is the new foundation for Mercedes till the next regulations overhaul. The key thing though is that we are not just looking to bring a lap time update, we are looking to head off in a different development direction. One that we think gives us a better chance in the long term of being able to challenge for race wins and world championships. The Imola package are the first steps in that direction. We are hoping to bring other updates later in the year. But what do you guys think? Will Mercedes be able to achieve a new baseline at Imola? How long will it take the Brackley-based squad to level its pace towards the Red Bulls? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section down below. We'd love to discuss it with you. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula 1 season.